Commander Jake Sullivan stood at the wide window of his ship, looking out into the black space filled with stars. His ship, the U.S. Liberty, moved slowly through the asteroid belt. The rocks floated past them like giant gray mountains in the darkness, but Jake was not looking at the rocks. He was looking at something much more dangerous. The alien ship hung in space about 5 miles away. It was huge, maybe 3 times bigger than Jake's ship. The alien vessel looked like it was made of crystal and metal mixed together. Strange blue lights moved along its surface like water flowing down glass. Jake had never seen anything like it in his 20 years of space travel. "Sir, they are sending another message," said Lieutenant Amy Brown from her station behind him. She was young, maybe 25, with short red hair and worried green eyes. She had been working without sleep for 3 days, just like everyone else on the ship. Jake turned away from the window. "Put it on the main screen." The big screen at the front of the bridge lit up. An alien face appeared. It was tall and thin, with skin that looked like pale blue metal. Its eyes were large and completely black, with no white parts like human eyes. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music played through a machine. "I am Commander Zeth-7 of the Zephyrian Collective," the alien said. Its mouth did not move the right way when it talked, like the words were coming from somewhere else. "We have taken 200 of your people from the mining colony on the planet you call Kepler 442b. They are alive, but they are our prisoners now." Jake felt his hands close into fists. He had heard this message before, but it still made him angry every time. The alien continued. "Your species has been expanding too fast across the galaxy. You build colonies on planets without asking permission. You take resources that do not belong to you. This must stop. We are here to teach you proper behavior." On the screen, the camera moved to show the inside of the alien ship. Jake could see humans standing in a large room with walls made of the same crystal material. Men, women, and children stood together in small groups. They looked scared and tired. Some of the children were crying. "These humans will remain our guests until your leaders agree to our terms," Zeth-7 said. "You will stop all expansion beyond your home solar system. You will give up your colonies on 12 planets. You will accept our guidance in all future space travel. If you refuse, these humans will die, and we will take more." The message ended. The screen went black. Jake stared at the empty screen for a long moment. Around him, his crew waited quietly. He could hear the soft sounds of the ship's machines and the breathing of his people. Finally, he spoke. "Amy, get me a direct line to Admiral Carter on Luna." "Yes, sir." Amy's fingers moved quickly over her control panel. "Connection established, sir." The screen lit up again. This time it showed a woman sitting behind a metal desk. Admiral Lisa Carter was 55 years old, with gray hair pulled back tight and sharp blue eyes. She had been in charge of Earth's space fleet for 10 years. Behind her, Jake could see the curve of Earth through a window. "Jake," she said, "I've been waiting for your report. What's the situation out there?" "The same as yesterday, Admiral. The alien ship is still here. They are still making the same demands. 200 hostages, including at least 50 children." Admiral Carter's face became hard. "Any change in their position?" "No, ma'am. They seem to think we will just give up and do what they want." "Have you been able to scan their ship? Find any weaknesses?" Lieutenant Ben Hayes, the ship's science officer, stepped forward. He was a thin man with thick glasses and nervous hands. "Admiral, their technology is much more advanced than ours. Their shields are stronger than anything we have. Their weapons could destroy our ship in seconds." Admiral Carter nodded slowly. "I see. Jake, I need you to keep watching them. Do not engage unless they attack first. I am calling an emergency meeting of all fleet commanders. We need to decide how to respond to this. "What about the hostages, Admiral?" Jake asked. For a moment, Admiral Carter's hard expression softened. We'll get them back, Jake. All of them. The aliens made a big mistake when they decided to threaten human children. The connection ended. Jake turned to look out the window again at the alien ship. Somewhere inside that crystal vessel, 200 humans were waiting for rescue. Families torn apart. Children scared and alone. People who had done nothing wrong except try to build a new life on a distant planet. "Sir," Amy said quietly. "The aliens are moving." Jake watched as the huge alien ship began to turn. Its blue lights pulsed faster, like a heartbeat speeding. Up, slowly, the ship moved toward a large asteroid about a mile away. "What are they doing?" Ben asked, checking his instruments. They got their answer quickly. A beam of red light shot out from the alien ship and hit the asteroid. In seconds, the huge rock turned to dust and scattered into space. The communication system crackled to life. Zeth Seven's musical voice filled the bridge. "That asteroid was the same size as your ship, Commander Sullivan. We know you are watching. This is what will happen to your vessel if you try to interfere with our mission. We also wanted you to see how easily we can destroy things. Your hostages are kept in a room very similar to that asteroid. Think carefully about your next actions." The alien ship turned back to its original position and became still again. Jake felt cold anger growing in his chest. These aliens thought they could scare humans by showing off their weapons. They thought humans would run away or surrender when faced with superior technology. They were about to learn something important about the human race. "Amy, record a message. To send back to Earth. Send it on all military channels." "Ready to record, sir." Jake looked directly into the camera. "This is Commander Jake Sullivan of the UES Liberty. I am sending this message to all human military forces, all colonial governments, and all civilian authorities. The aliens calling themselves the Zephyrian Collective have taken 200 human hostages, including children. They are demanding we abandon our colonies and stop our expansion into space." He paused, thinking about the scared faces he had seen on the alien transmission. "They have threatened to kill innocent humans if we do not obey their commands. They believe they can intimidate us with their advanced technology. They believe we will surrender rather than fight a battle we might lose. They are wrong." Jake's voice grew stronger. "I have a message for the Zephyrian Collective. You have made a serious error in judgment. You have threatened human children. You have taken our people prisoner. You have decided that your will is more important than human freedom. We reject your demands completely." He looked directly into the camera, his eyes hard as steel. "To every human receiving this message, the aliens have shown us their power. Now we must show them ours. Not the power of our weapons or our ships, but the power of our determination. We do not abandon our own. We do not surrender to bullies. We do not let anyone threaten our children and walk away." Jake ended the recording and nodded to Amy. "Send it now. All channels maximum power." As the message traveled through space toward Earth, Jake turned back to the window. The alien ship still floated there, confident and calm. The aliens inside probably thought the humans would spend days arguing and worrying before finally giving up. They had no idea what they had just started. Within hours, Jake's message would reach every human settlement in the solar system. It would be heard by billions of people on Earth, on Luna, on Mars, and in the asteroid mining stations. It would reach the military bases and the research stations, and the deep space exploration ships, and those billions of humans would all learn the same thing at the same time. Someone had threatened human children. The aliens were about to discover why that was the worst mistake they could have made. The emergency meeting room on Luna was packed with people. Admiral Lisa Carter sat at the head of a long table surrounded by the most important military leaders in human space. The room had no windows, just gray metal walls covered with screens, showing star maps and ship positions. The air smelled like coffee and fear. General Paul Bennett, a big man with graying hair and scars on his hands from the Mars Rebellion, spoke first. "We have counted our forces, 300 ships total. Most are cargo vessels with basic weapons added. The aliens have 50 ships, but each one is more powerful than our biggest warship." Colonel Amy Rogers leaned forward. She was thin and sharp, with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. "The numbers do not tell the whole story, General. I have been studying the alien ship designs from the recordings. They build their ships for efficiency, not for war. Their vessels are fast and have strong shields, but they are not designed for close combat." Dr. Elena Vasquez looked up from her tablet. She was a small woman with thick glasses and hands that were always moving. For 2 years, she had been the head of alien technology research. "I have been working on this problem since we first encountered Zephyrian scouts. Their weakness is not in their machines. It is in their thinking." Admiral Carter nodded for her to continue. "The Zephyrians are a collective species," Elena explained. "They think together like a hive mind. When they make decisions, they consider all possibilities and choose the most logical path. This makes them very good at planning and very bad at dealing with surprises." Captain Roy Martinez, head of military intelligence, pulled up a holographic display. "We have been watching their communications for months. They follow patterns. They send scouts, then negotiators, then enforcers. Everything they do follows a plan made by their collective consciousness. What does this mean for us?" asked General Bennett. Elena smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "It means they cannot understand humans. We do not think collectively. We make individual decisions. We change our plans constantly. We do things that make no logical sense. To them, we are chaos." Lieutenant Ben Hayes, the youngest officer in the room, raised his hand. "Dr. Vasquez, if they are so logical, why did they take hostages? That seems like it would make us fight harder, not give up." Elena's smile became wider. "Because in their experience, taking hostages works. Every other species they have encountered has surrendered when faced with superior technology and the threat of civilian deaths. They do not understand that humans are different." Admiral Carter stood up and walked to the large screen showing the positions of human and alien ships. "So we have an enemy that is stronger than us but cannot predict our actions. How do we use this?" Colonel Rogers activated her own display. "I have a plan. It is dangerous and probably insane, but it might work. We divide our forces into 3 groups. The first group, our biggest warships, will attack the alien fleet directly. This will be what they expect. They will focus their attention on stopping this attack." She pointed to different areas of the star map. "The second group will be smaller. Ships that can move fast and hide easily. While the aliens are fighting our main fleet, these ships will circle around behind them. Their job will be to rescue the hostages." "And the third group?" asked General Bennett. "The third group will be our secret weapon. Small teams of soldiers will use captured alien technology to board the enemy ships. The aliens will not expect this because it makes no logical sense. Why would we send people inside their ships when we could just try to destroy them from outside?" Captain Martinez looked worried. "Colonel, that plan requires our people to essentially commit suicide. The boarding teams will have almost no chance of survival." "That is true," Colonel Rogers sighed quietly. "But they will have a chance to save the hostages. And they will have a chance to learn about alien technology from the inside. Sometimes the impossible plan is the only plan that works." The room became very quiet. Everyone understood what she was saying. They were talking about sending people to die in order to save strangers. Admiral Carter broke the silence. "I need volunteers for the boarding teams. No one will be ordered to do this. It has to be a choice." General Bennett stood up. "I volunteer." "Sit down, Paul," Admiral Carter said. "I need you to command the main fleet. Colonel Rogers, you will lead the boarding operation. Dr. Vasquez, I need you to prepare equipment for the teams. Everything. They might need to survive on alien ships." Elena nodded. "I have been working on breathing apparatus that can handle different atmospheres. Also, I have modified some of our weapons to work against alien shields. They are not pretty, but they should function." "What about the hostages?" asked Captain Martinez. "How do we find them once we are on the alien ships?" Colonel Rogers smiled. It was a cold, dangerous smile. "We follow the screaming. The aliens will not expect humans to act like humans. When we start tearing their ships apart from the inside, they will panic. In their panic, they will make mistakes. We will use those mistakes to find our people." Dr. Vasquez held up a small device. "I have also been working on this. It is a tracker that can detect human DNA at short range. If our people are on a ship, this will help find them." Lieutenant Hayes raised his hand again. "What if the aliens decide to kill the hostages when they realize what we are doing?" The room became quiet again. Everyone had been thinking the same thing, but no one wanted to say it out loud. Admiral Carter answered. "Then we make sure they do not have time to kill anyone. We hit them so hard and so fast that they can only think about surviving. We become their worst nightmare." She walked back to her chair and sat down. "I have been in command of this fleet for 10 years. I have seen humans do impossible things when their families are threatened. The aliens think they understand warfare because they have superior technology. They are about to learn that war is not about having the best weapons. It is about having the strongest will." General Bennett pulled up another display. "We have been receiving messages from all over human space. Every colony wants to send ships. Every military base is preparing for war. Even the civilian cargo. Haulers are asking for weapons so they can join the fight." "How many ships total?" asked Admiral Carter. "As of this morning, over 800 vessels have volunteered. Most are not warships, but they are crewed by humans who are very angry about what happened to the colonists." Colonel Rogers looked surprised. "That is more than double what we had planned for." "The aliens wanted to send a message," Admiral Carter sighed. "They wanted to show us that they are in control. Instead, they have united every human settlement against them. They have given us a common enemy and a common cause." Dr. Vasquez looked up from her tablet. "I have been monitoring alien communications. They are confused by our response. They expected us to ask for negotiations or to surrender. Instead, we are gathering a war fleet. Their collective consciousness is having trouble understanding why we are not acting logically." "Good," said Admiral Carter. "Let them be confused. Confusion leads to mistakes, and mistakes lead to opportunities." Captain Martinez stood up. "Admiral, I have a question. What if we lose? What if all of this planning and sacrifice is not enough?" "Admiral." Carter looked around the room at all the faces watching her. These people had families, dreams, lives they wanted to return to. But they were all willing to risk everything for strangers they had never met. "Then we lose fighting," she said. "But we do not lose quietly. We make sure that every alien species in the galaxy knows what happens when you threaten human children. We make sure they understand that humans do not surrender, even when they should." She stood up and walked to the door. "You all have your orders. Prepare your ships and your people. In 48 hours, we will show the Zephyrian Collective what human logic looks like." As the officers filed out of the room, Elena remained behind. "Admiral, there is something else you should know. I have been studying the alien technology more carefully. I think I know why they are so confident." "What did you find?" "They have never lost a war. In 3,000 years of expansion, they have never encountered a species that fought back successfully. They think victory is automatic because for Them it always has been. Admiral Carter smiled. Then they are in for a surprise. Humans have a saying, there's a first time for everything. The preparation for war had begun. The human fleet came out of hyperspace like angry wasps pouring from a broken nest. 300 ships appeared at once, their engines burning bright against the black of space. Some were huge military vessels with thick armor and massive guns. Others were small cargo haulers with mining lasers welded to their hulls. All of them carried crews ready to die for strangers. Captain Danny Ford stood on the bridge of his destroyer, the Phoenix. His ship was older than he was, built 40 years ago and patched together with spare parts and determination. The engines made strange noises. The artificial gravity flickered sometimes, and the coffee maker had been broken for 6 months. But the Phoenix had good bones, and her crew knew every bolt and wire in her hull. All ships, this is Admiral Carter, came. The voice over the communication system. Execute Battle Plan Alpha. First wave, begin your attack run. Second wave, move to flanking positions. Third wave, prepare for boarding operations. Danny looked at his crew. Lieutenant Kate Murphy, his weapons officer, was checking her targeting. Systems. She was 28 years old and had never fired a shot in anger, but her hands were steady. Engineer Chris Powell was monitoring the engines, his face calm despite the sweat on his forehead. Navigation Officer Lisa Grant was plotting their course toward the alien fleet, her young face set with determination. You heard the Admiral, Danny said. Take us in, Lisa. Full speed toward the big, ugly crystal ship in the center. The Phoenix leaped forward, her engines roaring. Around her, dozens of other human ships did the same. They formed no neat formation, followed no textbook tactics. They simply charged straight at the alien fleet like medieval knights attacking a castle. Lord, Architect Keth9 watched the human approach from the bridge of his flagship. The massive Zephyrian vessel, called the Voice of Harmony, was 3 miles long and built from living crystal that could repair itself. It had shields that could stop atomic weapons and guns that could destroy planets. The humans are approaching in a disorganized manner, reported his tactical officer, Zeph-12. Their formation makes no logical sense. They are exposing their weakest ships to our strongest weapons. Keth9 studied the display showing the human fleet. The ships were indeed scattered across space like seeds thrown by the wind. Some big warships led the charge, but behind them came cargo vessels, mining ships, even what appeared to be passenger liners with weapons attached. Perhaps they are inexperienced in space warfare, Keth9 said. Begin standard defensive pattern. 7. Destroy the largest ships first, then work down to the smaller ones. The Zephyrian fleet moved into position with mathematical precision. Each ship knew exactly where to go and what to do. Their weapons charged with humming sounds like tuning forks. Blue energy danced along their crystal hulls, the first exchange. A fire lit up space like a deadly fireworks show. Zephyrian energy beams lanced out, striking human ships with surgical accuracy. 3 human destroyers exploded immediately, their reactors turning them into brief new stars. The aliens had expected this. Their weapons were designed to end battles quickly and efficiently. What they had not expected was what happened next. Human ships did not slow down. They did not retreat. Instead, they accelerated, charging directly into the alien fire. The cargo ship Heavy Lifter took a direct hit that should have destroyed her, but her captain, Maria Santos, kept coming. Her ship was on fire and venting atmosphere, but she aimed straight for the nearest Zephyrian cruiser. All ships, this is Heavy Lifter, Maria's voice crackled over the radio. My reactor is about to explode. I am going to take one of these crystal beauties with me. Tell my kids I love them. The cargo ship slammed into the alien cruiser at full speed, just as her reactor went critical. The explosion tore both ships apart. sending fragments of metal and crystal spinning through space. Q ETH-9 stared at the display in confusion. Why did that ship continue its attack when it was clearly destroyed? Zeph-12 checked his readings. Unknown, Lord Architect. The human ship's systems were failing, but the crew remained at their posts until impact. Before Keth-9 could respond, another human ship, the freighter New Hope, copied the same tactic. Captain Bob Turner aimed his dying vessel at an alien destroyer and rammed it, shouting defiance over the radio until the moment of impact. "This makes no sense," Keth-9 said. "They are destroying their own ships to damage ours. The mathematics of this exchange favor us greatly." But the human attack was just beginning. While the big ships drew alien fire, smaller vessels darted between the explosions like fish swimming through fire. Captain Danny Ford pushed the Phoenix through a gap in the alien formation, her hull glowing red from near misses. "Kate, target that big ship's shield generator," Danny ordered. "Chris, give me everything the engines have got." The Phoenix dove toward the voice of harmony like a hawk attacking an eagle. Her weapons were tiny compared to the alien ship's guns, but Kate Murphy aimed for specific targets instead of trying to destroy the whole vessel. Her mining lasers, designed to cut through asteroids, began slicing into the crystal hull. "Human vessel, you are too small to damage us," came a transmission from the alien ship. "Withdraw and you will be spared." Danny grabbed the radio. "This is Captain Ford of the Phoenix. I have a message for you aliens. We did not come here to be spared. We came here to get our people back." The Phoenix rolled and spun around the massive alien ship, her crew working with desperate efficiency. Chris Powell rerouted power from life support to weapons. Lisa Grant plotted a course that kept them in the alien ship's blind spots. Kate Murphy fired continuously, her lasers cutting deeper into the crystal hull with each pass. Other human ships copied their tactics. Instead of fighting like a traditional space fleet, they fought like pirates, using speed and cunning instead of raw firepower. The destroyer Braveheart used her tractor beam to grab asteroids and throw them at alien ships. The cruiser Liberty launched all her escape pods filled with explosives, turning life-saving equipment into weapons. Q ETH-9 watched his orderly battle plan fall apart. Our tactical computers cannot predict their movements. They change direction without warning. They use their ships in ways that make no logical sense. Lord Architect, Zeph-12 reported, "We are detecting small human vessels approaching from behind our formation. They appear to be flying directly toward our ships without weapons." On the far side of the battle, Colonel Amy Rogers led the boarding teams in small fast ships barely bigger than shuttles. Each vessel carried 6 soldiers wearing improvised armor and breathing equipment cobbled together by Dr. Vasquez. They had no shields, no heavy weapons, and no chance of survival if the aliens spotted them. "Remember, people," Amy said over the radio, "we are not here to win a space battle. We are here to save lives. Get in. Find the hostages, get out. Do not try to be heroes." Sergeant Kelly Brooks, leading one of the teams, laughed grimly. "Too late for that, Colonel. We became heroes the moment we volunteered for this insane mission." The boarding ships accelerated toward the alien vessels, using the chaos of the main battle as cover. Behind them, human ships continued their desperate attacks, trading their lives for time and distraction. Each explosion, each act of sacrifice, brought the rescue teams closer to their targets. Q Ethane felt something he had never experienced before: uncertainty. The humans were not fighting according to any logical pattern. They seemed willing to throw away ships and lives for no tactical advantage. Their behavior made no sense to his collective consciousness. "Lord Architect," came an urgent report. "We are detecting humans inside our ships." The boarding had begun. Sergeant Kelly Brooks kicked open the door of the airlock and stepped into the alien ship. The corridor was made of the same crystal material as the outside, glowing with soft blue light. The air smelled like electricity and something sweet that made her nose itch. Her boots made no sound on the smooth floor behind her. 5 other soldiers followed. Private Chris Taylor was barely 19, fresh out of basic training, but he carried the heavy cutting torch that might save lives. Corporal Deanna Wells had been a police officer before joining the military and knew how to handle scared civilians. The others were good soldiers who had volunteered for a mission they probably would not survive. "Stay close and stay quiet," Kelly whispered into her radio. "Remember, we are looking for a large room with human prisoners," Dr. Vasquez said there. "Holding areas would be near the center of the ship." The corridor stretched ahead of them, curving gently to the right. Strange symbols glowed on the walls, probably alien writing. Kelly could hear sounds in the distance, like music played by machines. The ship felt alive somehow, as if the walls themselves were breathing. They had been walking for 5 minutes when the first alien appeared. It was tall and thin, with pale blue skin that looked like metal. Its black eyes were huge, and when it saw the humans, it made a sound like wind chimes falling downstairs. It reached for something on its belt, probably a weapon. Deanna Wells shot it with her modified plasma rifle before it could draw whatever it was reaching for. The alien fell backward, its body making a ringing sound when it hit the crystal floor. "So much for staying quiet," muttered Chris Taylor. An alarm began to sound throughout the ship. It was not like human alarms that screamed warnings. This was a musical tone that seemed to come from the walls themselves, rising and falling like a sad song. "Move faster," Kelly ordered. "They know we are here now." They ran down the corridor, following the tracker device that Dr. Vasquez had given them. The small screen showed blinking dots that meant human DNA was somewhere ahead. The dots were getting stronger. Behind them, they could hear more aliens coming. The sounds were strange, like crystal bells ringing and metal feet on glass floors. Kelly had expected the aliens to sound more dangerous, but their footsteps were almost musical. The corridor opened into a larger space, and the humans stopped. They were on a balcony looking down into a huge room. The walls curved up and around them like the inside of a giant egg. In the center of the room, surrounded by a barrier of blue light, were the human prisoners. Kelly counted quickly. Men, women, children, all wearing the simple clothes of colonists. They sat in small groups on the floor, some holding each other, some staring at nothing. A few children were crying quietly. They all looked tired and scared. "There," Diana pointed. "I count about 50 people in this room. The others must be in different locations." Chris Taylor was already setting up his cutting torch. "This is going to take time. That energy barrier is not like anything I have seen before." More alarms joined the first, creating a harmony of warning sounds. Through the transparent walls, Kelly could see explosions in space as the battle continued outside. Human ships were still fighting, still dying to give the boarding teams more time. "Work faster," Kelly said. "Diana, watch the doors. Everyone else, help Chris with that barrier." While they worked, Lord Architect Kefnane was trying to understand what was happening to his ship. In the command center of the Voice of Harmony, reports were coming in from all over the vessel. "Humans have breached sections 7, 12, and 19, reported Zeph 12. "They are using primitive weapons, but moving with great speed." "How many humans are aboard our ships?" Kefnine asked. "Unknown. They travel in small groups and do not follow logical patterns. Our security systems cannot track them effectively." Kefnine accessed the collective database, searching for information about human military tactics. What he found confused him. Even more, according to their data, humans should be organizing into large groups, establishing secure positions, following military protocol. Instead, they were spreading throughout the ships like a virus, appearing everywhere at once. They are not following any known military doctrine, he said. They seem to be making decisions independently, without coordination. Lord Architect, came another report. The humans are attempting to breach the prisoner holding areas. For the first time in his long life, Keth9 felt something that might have been fear. Seal all passages to the holding areas. Increase security around the prisoners. We have already done so. The humans are ignoring our security barriers and cutting through them with primitive tools. In the holding area, Chris Taylor's torch was working slowly through the energy barrier. Sparks flew as the cutting beam met alien technology. The barrier was strong, but it was designed to keep prisoners in, not to keep rescuers out. Almost got it, Chris said, sweat running down his face despite the cool air. Just a few more minutes. Behind them, the sound of alien footsteps was getting closer. Kelly could see movement in the corridors, shadows that looked like tall, thin figures carrying strange weapons. They are coming, Diana warned. Lots of them. Kelly made a decision that saved everyone's life. Instead of waiting for the aliens to attack, she led her team toward them. Chris, keep cutting. Everyone else with me. They ran toward the aliens, shooting as they moved. Kelly had expected the aliens to be better fighters, but they moved slowly and seemed confused by the human attack. Their weapons were accurate, but took time to aim. They had probably never fought an enemy that ran straight at them. The first alien Kelly shot made the same wind chime sound as it fell. The second one tried to hide behind a crystal pillar, but Diana's rifle could cut through the alien material. The third alien actually ran away, which surprised Kelly so much she almost forgot to shoot. They are not very good at this, Diana said, reloading her weapon. They probably never had to fight inside their own ships, Kelly replied. Their battles usually happen in space, ship against ship. The sound of Chris's cutting torch changed, becoming higher and more urgent. I am through, he called. The barrier is down. Kelly ran back to the holding area. The blue energy field was gone, and the human prisoners were standing up, looking around in confusion and hope. A woman with gray hair and kind eyes stepped forward. Are you here to rescue us? She asked. Yes, ma'am, Kelly said. I am Sergeant Brooks, Earth Military. We are getting you out of here. A small girl, maybe 6 years old, tugged on Kelly's uniform. Are the bad aliens going to hurt us? Kelly knelt down so she was at eye level with the child. Not while I am here, sweetheart. We are going to take you home. Chris Taylor was already working on the next barrier. There are more humans in the next section. Looks like about 70 people. The rescued prisoners were helping now, carrying children and supporting the elderly. Dr. Sophie Williams, one of the colonists, turned out to be a medical doctor. She began checking people for injuries while the soldiers worked. How did you find us? Dr. Williams asked. We followed the signal from your DNA, Diana explained. Dr. Vasquez built a tracker that can find humans anywhere. You came all this way just for us? You do not even know us. Kelly paused in her work and looked at the doctor. Ma'am, you are human. That is all we need to know. Outside, the space battle was reaching its peak. Human ships continued to sacrifice themselves to keep the alien fleet busy. But now the aliens were beginning to understand what they were really fighting. Lord Architect Keth9 stared at the reports coming in. Humans were rescuing prisoners from 12 different ships. They were not trying to capture alien technology or destroy the fleet. They were risking everything just to save strangers. They are not fighting for territory or resources, he said slowly. They are fighting for each other. For the first time in 3,000 years, the Zephyrian Collective encountered something they could not understand, a species that valued individual lives more than logical victory. The rescue was succeeding, but the real revelation was just beginning. The last group of human prisoners walked carefully through the airlock onto the rescue ship. Hope's dream. Captain Maya Johnson watched as families hugged each other. Children cried with relief, and people who had given up hope smiled for the first time in days. 198 humans had been rescued. 2 had died before the rescue teams could reach them, and their loss hurt every person involved in the operation. "That is all of them," reported Sergeant Kelly Brooks as she helped an elderly man into a chair. Her armor was damaged and her face was dirty, but her eyes were bright with success. "Every human prisoner has been recovered." Maya nodded and activated her communication system. "All ships, this is Hope's dream. Package delivery is complete. All packages are safe and accounted for. Recommend immediate withdrawal from the area." The response came from Admiral Carter herself. "Well done, Maya. All rescue teams, return to your ships. Main fleet, begin withdrawal. We have what we came for." But Lord Architect Keth-9 was not ready to let the humans leave. On the bridge of the Voice of Harmony, he stared at the tactical display showing human ships pulling back from the battle. His fleet had lost 12 vessels, while the humans had lost over 100. By any logical measure, the Zephyrians had won. Yet somehow, it felt like defeat. "Pursue the human fleet," he ordered. "They have violated our sovereignty by boarding our ships. They must be punished." Zeph-12 hesitated. "Lord Architect, our primary mission was to demonstrate our superiority and enforce compliance. The humans have withdrawn. Perhaps we should consider this matter resolved." "No," Keth-9 said firmly. "They must understand the consequences of defying the collective. Open a communication channel to the human fleet." The main screen flickered to life, showing Admiral Carter on the bridge of her flagship. The human woman looked tired, and there was blood on her uniform, but her expression was calm and determined. "I am Lord Architect Keth-9 of the Zephyrian Collective," he began. "You have committed acts of war against our vessels. You will surrender your fleet for judgment, or we will destroy you all." Admiral Carter studied him for a long moment before responding. "Lord Architect, we came here for one reason only. You took our people. We got them back. As far as we are concerned, this matter is finished. You cannot simply leave after attacking our ships," Keth-9 insisted. "There must be consequences for your actions." "There already are consequences," Admiral Carter said quietly. "But I do not think you understand what they are yet." Before Keth-9 could ask what she meant, another voice joined the conversation. It was Commander Jake Sullivan, still in the asteroid belt where this had all started. "Admiral, I am detecting massive hyperspace signatures approaching our position. Multiple fleets, coming from all directions." On the tactical display, Keth-9 watched in growing confusion as hundreds of new ships appeared in space around them. These were not the patched-together vessels of the human rescue fleet. These were military ships, sleek and dangerous, flying in perfect formation. "Lord Architect," Zeph-12 reported with barely controlled panic, "we are detecting over 2,000 human warships surrounding our position. They are armed with weapons we have not seen before." Admiral Carter's image on the screen smiled, but it was not a friendly expression. "You wanted to send a message to humanity about our place in the galaxy. Message received. Now we have a message for you." A new voice came over the communication system. It was deep and calm, with the authority of absolute power. "This is Fleet Admiral Marcus Stone, commanding the Sol Defense Force, Lord Architect. Keth-9, you have threatened human civilians, taken hostages, and declared war on our species. We are here to discuss the terms of your surrender." Keth-9 felt his crystalline heart racing. "This is impossible. Our intelligence reports indicated that humanity possesses only a few hundred ships. Your intelligence was looking at our exploration and colony ships," Admiral Carter explained. "You never saw our military. We keep our real weapons hidden until we need them. And today we need them." Fleet Admiral Stone's image appeared on another screen. He was an older man with gray hair and scars that spoke of many battles. Behind him, Kef-9 could see the bridge of a ship so advanced it made Zephyrian technology look primitive. "For 3 years, we have been watching your empire expand across the galaxy," Stone said. "We have been studying your technology, learning your tactics, preparing for the day when you would threaten human space. Today is that day." Dr. Elena Vasquez appeared on yet another screen, speaking from a massive research station that had just emerged from hyperspace. "Lord Architect, I have been studying your people for a long time. You make the same mistake with every species you encounter. You assume that what you see is all there is." "What do you mean?" Kef-9 asked, though he was beginning to fear the answer. "You saw human exploration ships and assumed that was our entire fleet. You saw our colony worlds and assumed they were defenseless. You saw our willingness to negotiate and assumed we were weak. You were wrong about everything." Captain Danny Ford, still alive despite the battle in his ancient destroyer Phoenix, added his voice to the conversation. "You aliens are smart, but you think too much. You plan everything, analyze everything, predict everything. But you forgot the most important thing about humans." "What is that?" Kef-9 whispered. "We lie," Danny said cheerfully. "We bluff. We pretend to be weaker than we are, so our enemies will underestimate us. Every time you scouts visited our space, we showed you exactly what we wanted you to see." Sergeant Kelly Brooks, now back aboard her ship with the rescued prisoners, spoke up from her medical bay. "You thought taking hostages would make us surrender. Instead, it made us angry. And you really do not want to make humans angry." Lord Architect Kef-9 looked at the tactical display again. The Zephyrian fleet of 50 ships was completely surrounded by human vessels. Advanced fighters swarmed between the larger ships like angry insects. Weapons that could crack planets were aimed at his fleet. "This is still illogical," he said desperately. "You have rescued your people. Why are you not leaving? Why risk a larger war?" Fleet Admiral Stone answered, "Because you need to understand something very important about humanity. We do not start fights, but we finish them. We do not attack unless attacked first, but once you threaten our people, we become your problem until the problem is solved." "What do you want?" Kef-9 asked. "Your complete withdrawal from human space, Admiral." Carter said, "Your promise never to threaten human civilians again. And your agreement to leave every other species in this galaxy alone unless they attack you first. And if we refuse?" Fleet Admiral Stone's expression became very cold. "Then we will show you why every predator on Earth learned to fear humans. We will hunt your fleets across the galaxy until you understand that threatening our children was the worst mistake your species has ever made." Kef-9 felt the collective consciousness of his people reaching a decision. The mathematical analysis was clear. The humans had been pretending to be weak while building a military force that could challenge the entire Zephyrian Empire. They had turned the taking of hostages into a trap that had revealed the true nature of both species. "We accept your terms," he said quietly. "Excellent," Admiral Carter said. "But understand this clearly, we will be watching. If you threaten humans again, if you take more hostages, if you harm any species that cannot defend itself, we will come for you. And next time we will not be interested in negotiations." The human fleets began to withdraw, disappearing into hyperspace as quickly as they had arrived. Soon, only the rescue ships remained, carrying their precious cargo of saved lives back toward human space. Dr. Sophie Williams, one of the rescued colonists, sat in the medical bay holding her young daughter. "Mommy," the little girl asked, "why did all those people risk their lives to save us?" Sophie smiled and hugged her daughter. "Closer, because that is what humans do, sweetheart. We take care of each other." 6 months later, the first Zephyrian diplomatic ship arrived at Earth, carrying an unusual request. They wanted to send students to human universities to learn how a species could be both peaceful and dangerous, logical and chaotic individually. Weak but collectively unstoppable, the application was approved. The galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place.